Becky Green here to share with you some of my big takeaways from the last 8 weeks in our curriculum and instruction course. First thing that stood out to me from Understanding by Design was backwards design. Stephen Covey said to begin with the end in mind. It means to start with a clear understanding of your destination, to know where you're going so that you better understand where you are now, so that the steps you take are always in the right direction. UBD has two core concepts. First, the idea that all teaching and assessment should be focused on developing students' deep understanding. And two, the design of curriculum backwards in order to achieve that goal. The three stages of backwards design are: 1, identify desired results before ever determining the acceptable evidence, and lastly, plan your learning experiences and instruction. The next big takeaway for me was over clarifying goals. Backwards design is goal-directed, and goals are typically your content standards, course or program objectives, or learning outcomes. It's imperative that we unpack those standards and look carefully at the key recurring nouns, adjectives, and verbs. We want to spend the majority of our time focusing on the big ideas, then look at what's important to know and do, and then just the last little bit about the things that are worth being familiar with. For me, an example in math would be statistical analysis. It reveals a pattern. You have to choose the appropriate measure of center in real-world situations. Those are big ideas. Before you have to be familiar with, you have to know how to do mean, median, mode, and range, and then just be familiar with non-essential things, like who developed modern statistics. Next is essential questions. And essential questions are the signposts to those big ideas. They're important questions that occur throughout all of our lives. They refer to core ideas, and they help students effectively inquire and make sense of important ideas. They're targeted to engage a specific audience and a diverse set of learners. An example of an essential question is: how do the choices I make affect my financial success? The fourth thing that stood out to me was performance tasks. They're complex challenges that mirror the issues and problems faced by adults. They can be short-term or long-term projects, and they yield one or more tangible products or performances. Some of the benefits of performance tasks are that they allow for student choice and help promote ownership and engagement. They also appeal to multiple learning styles, and they're easily differentiated. An example that I've used in my classroom of a performance task is the Create Your Financial Destiny project, where students have an option to choose their future career and their salary. Then they have to keep up with that monthly salary by creating a personal budget. They have to include necessities, determine the difference between wants and needs, and then I throw a random wrench in their plans with some random life occurrences. The last big takeaway for me was technology. Research shows that technology has a positive effect on student understanding, and it has multiple uses. 2 billion people in this world currently have access to the web. For our kids to make the most out of this amazing, enormous change in the way they learn and live, we are going to have to step up our game as educators and fundamentally change our own practice, both professionally and personally. There are multiple uses to technology, from teacher development, communication, presentation of materials, a way for students to display their learning. This school year alone, I have used Edpuzzle, Socrative, TED-Ed, YouTube, Weebly, Kahoot, Google Sheets, Google Slides, IXL. Our classrooms don't look how they once did, with a chalkboard and teacher at the front of the room. Technology has changed the way learning occurs. Thank you for listening to some of my big takeaways about backwards design, clarifying goals, essential questions, performance tasks, and technology. I've enjoyed learning with and alongside each of you in this course, and I can't wait to apply what I've learned into my everyday teaching in my